We welcome to Jazz Voices Live, where we're shining the light on great jazz vocalists from everywhere. And today we're chatting with the phenomenal Lori Williams. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I'm so glad we're going to get a chance to catch up. For those of you who do not know Lori, you should know her. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a vocalist and a performing artist, music educator, songwriter, producer, and musical theater actress. She has 6 albums to her credit, all produced independently under her very own label, LoriJazz Records. As an educator, she received many awards, including Outstanding Music Teacher, Superintendent's Arts Teacher of the Year, and the Vincent E. Reed Teacher of the Year. And as a performing artist, she was nominated for a Helen Hayes Award as an outstanding lead actress in a resident musical for her role as Ella Fitzgerald in Ladies Swing the Blues, a jazz fable. And to top it all off, she was hailed as, what did Biden say? She has the voice of an angel by our very own president, Joe Biden. Oh my gosh. And all this while raising 2 fabulous children, both musicians, right?
Right, that's right.
That's so awesome. And let's see, the last time we spoke, you were living in DC and you were teaching, but I know you retired from teaching. Am I right?
Actually, so there's a lot of semantics in the words. I actually
Okay.
left.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
left.
Retired.
I left after 25 years, and it was a little bit of tiredness in there. So for sure, but
Yeah.
I'm still teaching. I'm teaching privately down here in Georgia.
Okay. Well, teaching in public school systems anywhere is a challenge, I'm sure. It takes a very special person, a very special personality. So I thank you.
I think the
But
young
I did.
energy, yeah, the young energy is needed for a lot of our young people, especially now with the pandemic. I think that they needed to
Mhm,
see and hear from a different voice. And I had
mhm.
done it for such a long time, and I wanted to have my own spin on the educational system, which is why I ended up doing my own company, Positive Music for Positive Minds, and doing my own way of doing it. And I'm doing it privately.
Okay, so we'll talk about that too.
Mhm.
Now, you were living in DC, very much a part of the DC jazz scene, and you decided to pack up and move to Georgia. Can you tell us why the move?
Well, both of my parents have passed on, and I grew up in the DC area, worked there for a very long time. And when my dad got sick, it just felt like it was time for transition. My daughter lives here; she's working on her
Okay,
doctorate at Emory, and
awesome.
yeah, and my son is in a performing arts school, high school down here. So I have both my kids down here, and we're together as family. But there's a need for me to come back to the city, so I might be coming back to DC in the very near future.
All right, yay! I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that
Yeah,
in
I really,
DC for
I
sure.
love being down here. It was really a change. Everything was needed, but it happened during
Hmm.
the pandemic. So trying to get connected with people
Yeah.
showed me that I needed to do a lot of pivoting, which is like the code word.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
as I get older, I'll be double nickels, Lord willing, in January. So
All
I think
right.
it's time for me to do some other transitioning. So that might be back in the DMV.
Okay. All right. That's good. Also, since we spoke last, you've recorded 3 albums, and wow, that's a lot since
And I'm working on the
2018.
seventh one now, so
And
I'm
you're working on this. Okay.
yeah, excited.
All right. All right. Um, how do you do it, Lori? How do you do it?
Gosh.
I mean, honestly, putting an album together is I can't. I mean, I don't know because I haven't done it, but I know that it cannot be anywhere near easy or simple. Where do you
No,
start?
but you know what? I think for me, when I'm putting music together, it's about who I'm working with at the time. So that's, I love the connection from of the creation process and I like the idea of being independent. And
Hmm.
so far, so good. So I've been really, really blessed to work with some incredible musicians. And for this
Hmm.
next project, a lot of the musicians are back in the DMV, so that'll be fun reconnecting.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Mhm.
How much are you involved in the arrangements that go on the CDs,
Oh,
on the albums?
100%. I'm there.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely there. For CD number 5, which was Full Circle,
Hmm.
Alan Johnson did a lot of the arrangements, and he is the jazz studies director at the University of the District of Columbia. So when you think of
Okay.
somebody like Alan Johnson, I step back and I yield to his instruction because he's Alan Johnson. And when it came to the arrangements, he asked for my input, but honestly, he didn't need it at all, and I just
Mm-hmm.
kinda said, "Yes, we're gonna go for it," and that was more of a straight ahead project, so I loved every
Hmm.
little bit of it, totally did, so looking forward to doing some more, collaborating with Alan.
Okay. Great.
Mhm.
Great. You do not keep yourself in a box. Let's see, what album was that?
Out of the
You
box.
that Out of the box. There you
Yeah.
go. More of a smooth jazz groove. Um, I really enjoyed. I play a lot of it on my show.
Thank you. That was a
Yes,
different that was a different take for me because a lot of
yeah.
people knew me for straight ahead and
Mhm.
traditional jazz, and, I wanted to show that I could do anything. I mean, I'm hoping to do even an inspirational CD, maybe for the holidays.
That was my next question because you don't make your faith a secret on your
No,
social media, and many of your tunes, you've done Amazing Grace. So I was hoping that you would say you're going to
thank
put
you.
together some kind of a gospel jazz
Yeah,
CD. That would be great.
my sister Vanessa Williams has the gospel, circuit locked. I definitely,
Mhm.
cannot compete with her skills as a gospel artist, but inspirational, I find that that's something that's needed, and with message music, I find that I can do that really well, and so,
Mhm.
I definitely wanna be able to delve into that in the near future.
Mhm. So how do you go about choosing the tunes for your albums?
Wow. Every CD tells a story. The first CD, Healing Within, I think we may have spoken about it. It was definitely a CD for me. It was
Mhm.
during a time when I was transitioning in life and love, and I needed to have that healing personally for myself. So it really wasn't for public consumption. But
Mm. Yeah.
when I shared it, so many people could relate to the same storyline. And there's nothing new, that's saying there's nothing new under the sun. We all go through our trials, we all have our tribulations, we're all going through something. Right now, we're all sharing in this pandemic experience.
Yeah.
So a lot of the music that I create comes from life stories. And so that's what I'm working on. And the working title for number 7 is called Reset.
Reset. Awesome.
Mhm.
Now, what I really enjoy about your recordings is the fact that your vulnerability comes across. You're you're able to put your emotion into the recording, and that's rare, honestly. I mean, when you're seeing
The
someone
Taylor Swift
live,
the Taylor Swift of jazz.
yeah, the Taylor Swift. It's when you're performing, you're seeing a live performance. It's a lot easier for the performer to put their emotion. But when you're in a studio, you would not think that you'd be able to pour that into your music, and I really enjoy that.
You know
How
what
do
it
you?
is, though? I think a lot of times, I have the mindset of doing first takes and
Mm,
using those first takes when I'm in the studio because it's so raw. So that's what
mhm.
I try to do, is to really just do, and most of the songs I've recorded are first takes, because I think, like, back in
Really?
that Motown era, they didn't have the luxury of, overdubs and redoing and, take
Mhm.
2, take 3. Nah, it's what was there and it's fresh. So there are some, flubs and errors, but those are what's honest and people can understand, so I
Right,
go
I
with it.
really enjoy it. I can't wait to see you in person one of these days.
One of these
I'll
days, we're
make it.
gonna
I'll make it to DC, or I'll bring you to Dayton. That's
that's
what
what
I'm
I
gonna
need to
do.
do. That's what
That's
that's what needs to happen.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. So you've worked with oh my gosh, Jonathan Butler, Will Downing, Mesa. Who is your dream collaboration with? Who do you want to work with next?
I always say it, Diane Reeves. If I
Oh,
could,
okay. She's still on there. Okay.
yeah, I love
I
her.
remember you telling me. Yeah,
She's
she
still
is
my girl.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
love her.
Hmm.
And what I love about Diane, um, Diane Reeves is definitely a genuine spirit, and she allows people like me to reach out to her, and she offers advice, and she's just generous in her heart, and she shares honest, authentic words of wisdom when you need it. And it's not
Hmm.
just about the fact that I'm a super fan or I've listened to her since the 80s. I think that she recognizes um, her role as a musician, and she allows that to spill over and influence and mentor people like myself.
She seems very gracious, very
Absolutely.
just open and willing to support people.
I'll tell you a story.
I did that.
I saw her in concert at the Kennedy Center in DC. Took my daughter to go see Diane Reeves, and I said, I tweeted, I was like, I'm so excited, I'm going to see Diane Reeves, and she inboxed me and said, "Well, I'll see you backstage." That to me was
Wow.
like, so immediately after the show, I made a beeline for that
Heck
backstage
yeah,
door.
right?
Like, I'm supposed to be here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's great. That is so great. Now, your daughter is also a recording artist. You want to give her a quick plug?
Absolutely.
Is she?
My daughter, Lauren Highsmith, goes by the name Lava High, and her website is lavahigh.me, LAVAHI.me. She's more of a neo soul jazz artist and totally dig what she's doing. She has a couple of videos that are on YouTube, and you got to check her out. She's not up and coming. She's there, and
Is
she
there?
actually just finished doing a run of a performance, a play that she did at Marietta Theater in the Square. So she does musicals, she does plays, and she's working on her doctorate. That's my girl.
Just overachiever like her mother.
And my son has his first concert for the holidays at the Performing Arts School on Thursday. So, of course, I'm excited to see him perform at the high school here.
All right. That's great. That is so it's I love seeing my children perform too.
Yeah,
They're
I'm a
they're all,
backstage mom.
oh, are you? Yeah.
I'm the
That's so
worst.
cool. You're the worst.
I'm like, yes, yeah, that's my baby.
So, how do you think this, like you released Full Circle and um, a new book, like before the pandemic and during the pandemic.
Right.
How do you think the pandemic has affected the success of those projects?
Whew. Well, the fact that we were not able to do face to face, in person
Yeah,
performances has been very challenging. However, look at what we're doing now. I mean, I think the fact that we're able to have these types of connections, I think
yeah.
that's incredible. Zoom has been amazing, and all these other platforms that have allowed us to be able to do the face to face like this has opened up the world to all of us. So, the fact that I wasn't able to do the shows was a setback. However, right now with everything opening, I'm able to share and promote in this type of medium, which is
Hmm.
awesome, and
Right.
reach a larger audience because I have my Positive Music for Positive Minds, and I have students in the UK, and I have students in Austria and in the US, of course, and I'm just
Hmm.
excited that I get a chance to reach other people worldwide.
Okay. So how do you feel about touring now that, I mean, the pandemic is, it's settling down. Well, not really, but I
Yeah,
mean, at least the venues are opening up.
yeah,
Are you comfortable with that or?
and I say that in such a way because of my faith. It's I heard, I think it was Dick Gregory who stated that fear and God don't dwell in the same place. And
Mhm.
so, nothing is taking anybody by God by surprise. Nothing has taken him by surprise with everything that's happened. It's taken us by surprise
Yeah.
because we didn't know it was going to happen. But I'm vaccinated. People have their opinions about that. And a lot of venues are not allowing artists to perform unless they show proof of vaccination.
Right.
So, it's I wanna be able to see my musical family in Europe, and so because of that, take care of those things I need to take care of so I can travel. And
Right.
I'm ready to go, and I don't want to be boxed in so much so that I'm in like this box in which we're here right now. I want to be able to come and see you and say, "Hey girl," and give you dap or
Yeah.
hug if you're willing to do so, and be able to share that personal connection, because we need each other in that way, that human experience. We need that. And it's going to be different. A lot of our performances are different. I just did a gig in Philadelphia with Najee, which was really a lot of fun. But
Mm.
people had to show
Mm.
proof of vaccination. I have to go and do City Winery, Lord willing, in December on the 22nd in
That's in
Philly.
Philly, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
at the
Hmm.
Loft. And
Hmm.
today they sent a note that they want to have the proof of vaccination for or negative COVID test. So for me, the band is already taken care of. So I'm
That's great.
like, yeah. And I went to go
Hmm.
support one of my students who's an artist as well, Nick Hakim. And I'm standing in the line and people are, going towards the door, and they said, show your proof. So that's another thing. So they wouldn't even let people come into the venue unless they had the vaccination card.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fine with me.
I'm
That is fine
Hey,
with me.
it's fine with me too.
You know.
I mean, and that's everybody has their own opinion, and I don't knock anybody's, but for me and my home, I make
Right.
sure, and I was reluctant. I'm gonna be honest. I was one
Hmm.
of the ones who took a little while to get there, but I had to think
Hmm.
about, if my mom and my dad had been living, what would I have done, and what would I have
Hmm.
wanted to do for them as
Right.
seniors. And so it was a no-brainer. So I had some really great people giving me medical advice and the pros and the cons and which ones to take, which ones,
Hmm.
it's we have a choice, and that's what it is. We all are given these choices, free will. And the
Right.
prayer is that it works, and it's going to allow us to see some more days. That's the prayer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I love it. Love it.
Mm.
So, you've been a recording artist for 20 years, I want to
Oh
say.
my gosh,
Since more than that.
you
What's
know,
the
girl.
It's been a while. A few years.
But, let me say, I've done work with people as background artists as well, so I've been on
Okay.
several people's projects before my own.
Okay. What's the biggest problem you've encountered as a
Ooh,
recording artist?
being a Black woman,
Mm,
that's
okay.
pretty much what it is, Black woman.
Mm,
As a Black woman in this business, I'm an Aquarian, and I like peace and love and happiness, but I'm also business-minded, and I
mhm.
don't like being taken advantage of. And I think sometimes, it's not an even playing field. I'll say, um, like even for this, I have to come with the lashes and a little bit of makeup and, girl it up a little bit. But I'd love to be able to just do the natural and just like, and just be treated in the same vein as the male counterparts, and be looked
Oh,
at
yeah.
as someone who's capable based on just talent. But the visual aspect of being a female and then being Black has its positives and has its negatives. I love when I
Mhm.
travel to Europe because I'm looked at um, in a different light altogether.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Russia, Ukraine, Austria, Germany, Slovakia welcome with open arms, and they look at the persona
Yeah.
as chocolate goddess. You know what I mean? It's like this
Mhm.
woman coming from the US where jazz originated. And so she's got to have it in her blood and in her DNA.
Mm.
She knows that.
Mhm.
Whereas when
Mhm.
I come back here, we have so many people who look like us. And um, it's a more difficult platform.
Okay, to put it simply.
Yeah, so I've
Yeah.
I've had
To I can
some
see that.
knocks. I've had some knocks in the business, and still having some knocks in the business when it comes to rights ownership and uh, the legalities of the music business can be a little daunting, and if we're
Mhm.
not wise and don't ask the right questions, we can be taken advantage of. So I love having people in my circle who are positive and who are going to share authentic, truthful information to help build what we're doing so that we can propel ourselves to go higher. And I love working with other people, and I love working with women, especially because I think women empower women. So I love the
Hmm.
support of women, and I'd love to see more people in position of power who look like me.
All right. What
Yeah,
would you
I'm gonna
say?
get off of that soapbox real quick.
And that's good. I can dig it.
Hmm.
Uh, what would you say was your best performance? That performance you walked away from and you were like, I did that, and I connected with the audience, and it was just
It was
everything to
it
you.
was probably my very first performance with a band called Collaboration out of the DC area. We did the Capitol Jazz Fest, and we opened up. We were the opening act. And of course, I'm every show I have nervous jitters because I
Hmm.
want to be able to present
Right.
a positive presentation for the audience, and I want them to connect. We were outside and it was a beautiful day, and the crowd loved it. And before the show I was telling Kenny, who's my son's godfather, I said, "Do you think they're gonna dig me?" And he was like, "Of course they're gonna, give me all the pep talks and
Right.
everything." And
Right.
it was a magical experience. And the interesting thing is when I saw Cliff Hunt at Capitol Jazz, he reminded me of that performance. I was like, "Yay!" So it came
Wow.
full circle again that I was, headlining.
Right.
Mm.
Right. That's great. So on the flip side, what was your worst performance? Where
Ooh,
you just
you
like,
know what?
oh, I
I
don't
would
want anybody
probably, wow, what would be a worse performance? I don't know if it was worse. I didn't win. So I performed at the
here.
Apollo.
Oh,
And I was 19 years old, and I think I have that clip online. I
okay.
had braces and the big glasses, and
Oh,
yeah, it was the time. And I think I did too much, and that's what I try to teach my students: less is more. And I was
mm,
trying to showcase every little bit of run and range and depth and everything.
mm. Well, you know I gotta check it out now. I know it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
online.
yeah. It was hilarious. The great thing is I didn't get booed, but I didn't
Okay,
win.
that's
So,
good. Okay, well that's the goal. That's the
yeah,
goal for the Apollo.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's great. So what do you like most about being a musician or a vocalist or
Oh
the
my gosh.
owner of your own
Let me
label?
this is all
All
I've
of that.
ever wanted to do was to sing. Ever since I can remember, it's all I've ever wanted to do. So, that's such a what do I love about it? I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the gift. I'm grateful when it works right. I'm grateful when
Hmm.
I take care of it and nurture it and make sure that it's coming out the way it's supposed to come out. And wow, I love the fact that music um, can connect to so many different people, and I love the fact that the words that are, the lyrics can be able to touch hearts. I love everything about it. This
Yeah,
is, man, wow. I love everything about music. I love it. I love all the genres that bring about peace and healing. I love the fact when I'm working with young people that they can teach me some things that I've never, been hip to before. And I love that I'm able to share things to them to enlighten them. So yeah, music
hmm,
is wow. I love everything about music.
that's great. I love
Yeah.
that answer. So tell us about the nonprofit.
Positive music for positive minds. And you could check it out
Mhm,
at positivemusicpm.org. I taught, like I said, in the DC public schools for over 25 years, and I was a high school teacher for the latter part. And a lot of my students would come in and they would share lyrical content that I was not so happy with. It could be,
of
whatever
course.
they would, whatever songs they would play, and I allowed my room to be a safe zone for everything, and anything and everything was they came in, they knew that they were safe to be able to express themselves. But I wanted to challenge them to have a voice and have a say in what they listened to. And I thought that what they absorbed in their mind and in their spirit
Hmm.
goes beyond what they even were aware of. And so I wanted them to really um, take a listen and break those lyrics down and find out if there were ways in which they could be able to change those lyrics to make it where it would be something that um, could impact, and could the message be said the same way using different words. So I kind of played around with that, and I would do workshops with the students and do lesson plans where I would read the lyrics with profane lyrics,
Mm.
and read them
Mhm.
as if I'm reading Shakespeare. And I would just, I would take and read it, and they were like, "That's not how it goes. It's supposed to go." And then I
Right.
would take it out of the rhythm to just read the content and ask them to analyze it. So it would become a writing assignment. Let's analyze these lyrics. What do you think the writer meant when he or she said X, Y, and Z? And so they would really delve into the lyrics. They talk about who their favorite artist was and why. And so it just kind of it became this wonderful thing. And so I decided to call in some musician friends of mine, like Sugar Bear and Chuck Brown, God rest his soul. And we did this workshop where they came in and tried to mentor some students in a performance. And then there was an actual performance of the students where there was dancing and there was spoken word, etc.
Mhm.
And so I went to the Wolf Trap Foundation and had it commissioned. And there was Positive Music for Positive Minds. I got the art teacher to get the artists to come in, and they did this incredible mural. And so it was a buy-in from the art teacher, the music, the
Mm.
drama, the English teachers. And we all decided it was so important. And that's the way to reach our young people, through the music and through the arts. So that kind of took off. And then I decided, well, I teach music as well. Let me try to get some other people to come in and showcase what they teach. And so we did. Anthony Wellington came in and did a bass workshop, and then I had Elise Perry, who was working at BET before, and she came in and talked about the business of BET. And then my daughter, of course, she's an English whiz and
Mhm.
professor, the whole bit. So she came in and talked about writing and lyrical content and how important that was. And then I had Thomas White, who is an incredible choreographer, and he came in and taught our young people after school this amazing choreography, and they performed it. So it was a show.
Oh,
Everything was there, and the students created songs. And so I decided positive music for positive minds. That was the premise. How can we how can we impact our young people by teaching them positivity through lyrics and through the arts? And that's what the organization is all about. So hopefully people will check out Positive Music PM and ask us to come into their schools or their organizations, communities, churches, so that we can be able to impact their small groups or their classes and supplement the programs that are happening in the school system.
yes, that is so important. I'm telling you, I guess every generation, the older people talk about the younger people, and
Mhm.
and this generation is no different. But
Right.
it seems to me that it's so much more loose, or they just seem to me to go.
That's an
They have
understatement. Ooh.
I don't, I try not to judge. I have 3 children. They're grown now, but they didn't grow up in the cell phone era.
It's
They
different.
they just got cell phone. I can't imagine if I had a cell phone
It's
at
very,
18 years
very
old.
different.
I just, yeah.
I have an app where I'm able to control my son's cell phone when he's at school, so I shut it down
Oh, yeah.
during the school day because it's a distraction. For all of us, it's a distraction because
Yeah.
it's right here. This is our way to communicate. We need to make sure we're not missing important messages or phone calls or whatever.
Mhm.
This is our
I
like
know.
lifeline, so to speak. And
Mhm.
it's another form of Big Brother, which was foretold from before. And so I try to
Yeah.
make sure as much as possible that I can be able to manage as long as I can the content that he's watching and listening to, the time that he spends on it,
Yeah.
and that's my teacher hat and mom hat combined that I just, I'm a little overbearing, but I
Right.
believe he appreciates it because I think, this way he knows there are limitations to things and everything
Mhm.
can't just be, you can't stay up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning watching
Right.
TV and playing
Right.
on your phone and playing the video games. There's got to be a time limit for things, and
Right. You gotta
it's got
set
to be
boundaries for yourself.
boundaries are
We need to
so, and we
learn to
need them
set
anyway.
those boundaries. Yeah, myself. I have to turn my phone over sometimes,
Yes.
just
Yes.
push it away.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Okay. So it's positive music. What's the
Positive music for
music for
positive
positive
minds.
minds?
Positive
What's the
PM,
website?
positivemusicpm.org.
Okay.
And even if they put in positive music for positive minds, it's going to come right back to my
Right.
domain.
Right. And you have a Facebook page for that as well.
Yes, I do.
Uh,
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
okay. So are you surviving off of just donations, or do you have some
Right now, it's just donations.
sponsors?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we did in the beginning, we were doing the sponsorship, but because of the pandemic, we weren't allowed to go into the schools. So we're
Mm,
trying to rebuild and do some things. We did a workshop this summer, and I came out of pocket. I was really, I had to do it because I wanted to make sure that I was able to impact and then have
mhm,
the program shown the way it needs to be
mhm.
shown. So each year,
Right.
I've got to try to do something. So right now, it's about raising that money. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So when's your next project? What's the date? Can you give us a date?
Yeah, so for me, as far as positive music for positive minds, it'll definitely be in the summer of
Hmm.
2022 because we're in, the executive board, we're trying to revamp and rebuild. And so we'll
Okay.
probably do another Zoom like we did this past summer, which was really, really successful. But for my personal performances for LoriJazz, December 22nd, I'm scheduled to be at the City Winery, the Loft at the City Winery in Philadelphia. The 23rd, I'm scheduled to be in Washington, D.C. with Marcus Johnson at Blues Alley. And then I'm excited about that. And then I have some other dates that are coming up. I'm scheduled to be at the Velvet Note in
Oh,
Alpharetta,
Alpharetta,
Georgia
Georgia. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for New
Okay.
Year's, the New Year's Eve gala. So that's
Hmm.
me. I'm featured as the artist for that one. And
Great.
Mid Atlantic Jazz Festival in February in the DC area. And some gigs coming up with D. Lucas and Najee again. And then also I'm scheduled to do a jazz residency at Old Dominion University in the spring.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. All right, everybody. Follow Lori on social media. She's all over social media. That's
everything.
Lori. Yeah, yeah, she's all over social media. Go to her website, LoriJazz.com, to purchase her albums. And this streaming thing, I don't want to talk about it, but it's necessary. It's a necessary evil, but buy the album. Her
Thank
albums,
you.
I'm telling you, every album, I've listened to every album,
Thank you.
and they are all worth adding to your collection
And
for
I like
sure.
to put it reminds me of when albums really were, when we had
Hmm.
vinyl, when they're back coming back. But I like to take the time, and I have some incredible photographers and layout artists who help me to design the album. So I really put a lot of effort into them.
Oh, yes, definitely. And what else? Follow, oh, her label is LoriJazz.net, correct?
Yes,
That's the jazz
it's Lori
label.
Jazz Records, and so all of the music is
Okay.
on
LoriJazz
LoriJazz.net.
website.
Correct.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Lori, thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so much
Thank
for
you. I
chatting with
appreciate
me
it.
this
And one of these
evening.
days, we're gonna get together and have some dinner or something. We gotta
Yeah,
connect,
I'm
you know?
definitely going to be on the East Coast to see you in one of your performances, or I'm going to try to bring you to Dayton too.
I
We
would
really should
love that. I would love that.
do
Yeah.
that. All right, everybody, subscribe to Jazz Voices channel for more interviews. And if you enjoyed this interview, please leave a comment, thumbs up, share it with a friend. And don't forget to check out our website, jazzvoices.org, and listen to my radio show, Jazz Voices at 89.5 FM. And if you're in the local area in Dayton, and WDPSFM.com if you're listening online. And I'm playing Lori's music all the time. So I want to thank you once again for tuning in. And I will see you the next time, Lori. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Same to you for more Jazz Voices. Take care. Bye bye.